Hi everyone, Alan from Newlands Nursery. Welcome to today's 5-Minute Friday, and today we are sowing sweet peas. Now you might think it's the wrong time of year to do this, but actually there's 2 times a year you can sow sweet peas, and in doing them in the autumn stroke winter, then you get earlier flowers. There's a bit more care obviously over the winter, but they're hardier than people think. Putting them in a cold frame or an unheated greenhouse, they will grow really, really well. And who doesn't want earlier flowers? So let's sow the sweet peas. I've got all my stuff. I've got a nice, good multi-purpose compost. So when you're sowing seeds, you want something that's a little bit fine. You don't want too many lumps in it. So I'm using the compost that we use for everything, and if we find any lumps, I just take them out and discard them. They'll be fine obviously in pots, but when you're putting them in a seed tray, they're not as good. So what I'm doing is just filling up the compost just to the top of the cells. These are quite big cells. Sweet peas can get quite big, so I'd like to use a nice big cell for sweet peas. And then what I do is just tap it down. That takes the compost just away from the top. It makes it easier to water and deal with. So then I turn the attention to the seeds. They come in seed packets like this. What I'd like to do is just pour them onto this tray here. It's just easier to deal with. Some seeds, not so much sweet peas, but some seeds are so small that you put them on the table, put them in your hand, you just lose them. And then what we're aiming for is one seed in the centre of each cell. So what I'm doing is just placing it on the top. So we're going to deal with what we do with them afterwards. So just done a row there. I'll do another row. So 2 rows, so 6 in total. If you're a bit short of space, if you actually have only got a little bit of space to sow seeds and you've only got a certain amount of cell trays, but you've got plenty of seeds, I would put 2 per cell tray. The reason being is you never get 100% germination from any seed. Even on the nursery in the perfect conditions, we never get 100% germination. With a sweet pea, we might get 90, 95%, but never 100%. So if you don't want to waste a lot of time and a lot of space, then 2 seeds per tray means you're definitely going to get a plant out of it. So now we've placed them on the surface, what I'm going to do is lightly push them down. So a seed, when you're covering it or pushing it into the compost, wants to be about as deep as the seed itself. It's a good rule of thumb and something that's well worth following. It's almost never wrong. So I just lightly press it into the compost. So it goes just below. A sweet pea seed is around about 5 mil in size. So I'm pushing it about 5 mil deep. So I just push it down just like that. Simple as that. Then what I'm going to do is get a nice bit of fine compost and do what's called broadcasting. And broadcasting is effectively just gently covering over the seeds. Okay. So just like that. You place a bit of fine compost on the surface of your hand and then just waggle, if that's a word, your hand just like that. So you just lightly cover it, okay? Then all that's left to do is give it a good water. So make sure, and I've made this mistake so many times, anything you don't want to get wet, move it well out of the way, okay? And then I'm just going to place it towards the front of the table. That's because you get water everywhere, and we give it a nice water. So what you'll find when you're watering seeds, it's good to start the watering can off away from the seed like that until you get a good sense, and then just go across like that. At this stage, you almost can't overwater it. It wants a nice lot of moisture, okay? Just let it drip down until you know you've got a nice lot of moisture in there. And this probably won't need watering for quite some time. So, like I said, sweet peas, harder than people think. So something like this, I'm not going to move to our germination room that's just nice and warm. I'm going to germinate it in something like this, so an unheated greenhouse. The windows are open in this greenhouse, and we'll take it through the winter in this greenhouse with no issues at all. So it's as simple as that. Come next year, we're going to pop them up and start growing sweet peas and getting them to trail up things. But that's how you sow sweet peas. And if you need any information at all, obviously get in contact. See you soon.